Before the universe existed, before light, before sound, before gods, there was only one presence, a presence that had no beginning, no birthplace, no mother, no creator. He existed when time was unborn, when even eternity had not begun to count itself. He was nada. Man, he was not a god. He was not even a form. He was Shiva. Shiva did not arrive. He did not emerge. He simply was like an endless ocean of stillness. Long before Brahma breathed creation into existence, long before Vishnu began to sustain the worlds, long be. For the first element was born, Shiva watched, in silence, when creation finally awakened. Mountains rose, rivers carved their paths, stars lit the skies. And atop the silent peaks, the first sages felt a presence, a consciousness beyond form, a stillness beyond mind. He did not speak. He did not move. He simply sat, a living stillness, untouched by the birth of worlds. If Shiva existed before creation, before time, before gods, then who found him first? Before time began, before stars were born, before even darkness existed, there was only nothingness. Science calls this state a quantum vacuum, a womb of infinite potential, a place where particles appear and vanish instantly, like shy fireflies afraid to exist. But the ancient sages, the rishis, they called this state something else, shunya, the great emptiness. Shiva was not a being living in the emptiness. He was the emptiness. He was Swayambhu, the one who manifests by himself, without cause, without creator, without form, in this vast, timeless void. There was no earth, no sky, no fire, no air, not even the idea of existence, and yet there was something, a stillness, a presence, a consciousness waiting to awaken, a presence that the ancients called Mahashunya, the Great Zero. Modern physicists say the universe came from a vacuum fluctuation, a ripple in an ocean of nothing. But thousands of years ago, yogis described this same state. They said, Shiva is the stillness from which everything emerges. Creation did not begin with a bang. It began with a breath, a gentle ripple, a whisper in the cosmic waters, and suddenly, existence awoke. The first sound was not spoken. It was felt. The rishis called this vibration nada, the instruct sound, the sound that exists before sound. As vibrations grew, the formless became subtle form. Not a body, but an awareness. Aware of its own infinity. Aware of its own stillness. Aware of its own potential. And in that stillness, in that eternal awareness, the first consciousness blinked. That consciousness, that infinite awareness, that formless origin, the ancients called Shiva. So before creation, before the first atom, before the first God, there was only Shiva, the stillness waiting to become everything. But when creation began and life emerged, who was the first to realize him? In the early ages of creation, a time of cosmic serenity, Brahma shaped the worlds from the golden dust of imagination, and Vishnu sustained them with his boundless grace. Harmony ruled the heavens, galaxies swirled in a celestial dance, and divine rivers flowed with tranquility. But even in this perfect peace, a single question, a whisper of ego, was about to shake the universe to its very core. In a celestial council, surrounded by glowing devas and wise sages, the question arose, echoing through the realms, who is supreme, Brahma, the creator, or Vishnu, the preserver? This simple query, born of curiosity, gave birth to the first cosmic conflict. The skies rumbled, and storm-like clouds gathered as the seed of pride began to sprout. Brahma, radiant and golden, rose from his swan, his voice filled with authority. I am the creator. Without me, nothing would exist. Then Vishnu descended from his cosmic serpent, calm but radiating immense power. I protect what you create. Without me, nothing would survive. What began as a question escalated into a storm of pride. The heavens trembled. Huge cosmic waves of divine energy collided as the two great gods unleashed their might. The lightning of creation clashed with the waves of preservation. For the first time, creation witnessed two of its guardians in conflict. Then, suddenly, the universe fell silent. Everything froze. Even time itself seemed to hold its breath. From the very center of existence, a colossal pillar of fire erupted. It stretched beyond sight, with no beginning and no end, no top and no bottom. This fire was not a destructive flame, it was alive, pulsing with a deep, otherworldly vibration. It was a pillar of pure, living consciousness, brighter than a million suns. Yet cooler than moonlight, the cosmos had never seen such a sight. From within this infinite light, a deep, booming voice emerged, a voice that felt older than creation itself. O Brahma, O Vishnu, and your dispute. Search for the beginning or the end of this light. Whoever finds it shall be declared supreme. Neither god knew who spoke, but they felt a presence so ancient, so powerful. It humbled them instantly. The challenge was set. Vishnu, the preserver, took on the form of Varaha, the great cosmic boar. Massive, majestic, and as black as the night sky, with tusks glowing with divine light, he dove downward at lightning speed, seeking the pillar's base. For thousands of divine years, he traveled down, 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 through cosmic clouds, layers of space, and celestial underworlds. Galaxies rushed past him like specks of dust. Yet, the pillar continued infinitely, panting. His energy spent, Vishnu realized the truth. There is no end, only more. Meanwhile, Brahma, the creator, transformed into a Hamsa, a celestial swan of pure white light. Flapping his radiant wings, he soared upward, searching for the pillar's crown. He sped past stars, constellations, and entire galaxies, but just like Vishnu, he found no end. The pillar stretched on, an endless column of light. What they thought was a test of strength had become a profound lesson in humility. After eons of travel, exhausted, Vishnu slowed his descent. He bowed his head before the infinite pillar. I cannot find the end, he admitted. This light is infinite. I accept defeat. He began his journey back, his heart filled with reverence for this immeasurable power. Brahma, however, driven by his desire to win, encountered a ketaki flower falling from the pillar. Frustrated and unwilling to admit defeat, he devised a plan. Tell Vishnu I reached the top, he commanded the flower. Be a witness to my victory. The flower hesitated. But that is false, Brahma insisted. Do as your creator commands. Reluctantly, the flower agreed. When they returned to the starting point, Vishnu bowed respectfully. You are supreme, Brahma. I could not find the end, Brahma, swelling with pride, declared. But I did. The ketaki flower is my witness. At that very moment, the pillar of fire exploded with blinding light. From within the flames, a divine figure emerged, long matted hair from which the Ganga flowed, a third eye glowing with cosmic wisdom, a body smeared with sacred ash, a crescent moon adorning his head, and a serpent coiled around his neck. It was a presence ancient, unimaginable, and truly infinite. For the first time, Brahma and Vishnu saw him. The voice from the pillar echoed once more, this time with a face and a form. You cannot measure the infinite. It was Shiva. Brahma trembled. His pride shattered. Vishnu bowed, his humility rewarded. Shiva's voice was stern but just. Vishnu spoke the truth. Brahma lied. He turned to the creator. Because of pride and falsehood, you shall have no temples on earth where you are worshipped as the supreme. Then he turned to Vishnu. Because of humility and truth, you shall be worshipped forever across the worlds. Finally, his gaze fell upon the ketaki flower. And you, for bearing false witness, you shall never be offered in my worship. The great pillar of fire, the Lingodbhava, then folded back into Shiva's form. He stood tall, serene, immeasurable. Brahma and Vishnu fell at his feet, their conflict resolved, their egos dissolved. In that moment, they understood. The light was Shiva. The fire was Shiva. The test was Shiva. The universe itself was Shiva. as Shiva dissolved back into a radiant flame that faded into the starlight. The gods finally grasped what sages had known for ages. The infinite cannot be found by searching. It can only be experienced through humility and truth. Creation had begun. Life had appeared. But humanity was still newborn. Fires flickered in caves as primitive humans discovered movement, breath, hunger, and fear. They lived, but they did not know why they lived. The planet was a canvas of untouched forests, blue rivers, and mountains still forming, with winds whispering through endless valleys. It was a world alive, yet asleep to its own potential. Then a shift, 7 luminous souls destined to become the Saptarishis felt a pull, a whisper calling them from across the vast, ancient lands Atri, Ragu, Angiras, Vashishta, Gautama, Kashyapa, Bharadwaja. Their footsteps glowed as they journeyed, not just as seekers, but as ancient consciousness drawn to a single point on the globe. Their destination was the north, a place where the sky touched the earth, where the winds knew secrets, and where stillness had a heartbeat. They were being called to the mighty Himalayas. As they moved through the snow and silence, their long journey culminated in a clearing, high among the frozen peaks. And there they found him. Or perhaps they were allowed to find him. Seated upon a massive rock was a still figure in perfect meditation. He was not moving, not visibly breathing, covered in a blanket of snow, yet radiating an energy so immense it seemed to bend the very air around him. This was Shiva. The Adiyogi, for the first time in cosmic history, life gazed upon the one who existed before life. The 7 sages stood frozen, tears streaming down their faces, overwhelmed by the presence before them. He sat unmoving, yet the entire universe seemed to move within him. His aura pulsed with spinning galaxies and the breath that forms worlds. His silence was louder than creation itself. Sage Brgu, his voice trembling with awe, stepped forward and asked the first question, "Lord, who are you?" The question simply disappeared into the profound silence, yet, in that stillness, they felt the answer. He was everything and nothing, formless, yet the source of all forms, the infinite. Sitting in a human shape, and so they waited for 12 long years. The Saptarishis sat behind him, without a single word exchanged. Without a single teaching given. Snowstorms raged and the sun burned, but Shiva remained in samadhi, a state of formless consciousness. The sages meditated, their bodies growing thin. But their devotion and patience burned ever brighter. Their patience became their penance. They understood that to receive the ultimate, they had to become absolutely receptive, empty of all else but the longing for truth. Then, one morning, after 12 years of unwavering stillness, a breeze shifted. A lotus bloomed nearby. The birds stopped singing, as if in awe. The Adiyogi moved. Slowly, one eye opened, just slightly, and from it, a beam of brilliant blue light shot across the mountains. The Saptarishis bowed, trembling with anticipation and reverence. A soft, divine voice echoed in the vastness. "You have come for truth, but truth is not given. Truth must be prepared for." With a raise of his hand, Shiva unleashed cosmos upon them. Storms rose, winds roared, and fire spiraled through the air. Water surged and mountains shook. The Saptarishis were thrown into a cosmic test, a trial by the 5 elements themselves. Atri was trapped in a whirlwind, Ragu engulfed in fire, and Angiras submerged in water. They were tested by earth, air, fire, water, and space, but they endured, not through strength, but through absolute surrender. They did not fight the elements. They became one with them when the storms finally ceased and a profound calm returned. Shiva stood up for the first time. Snow fell from his matted hair as he looked upon them, his eyes filled with a deep, boundless compassion. "You are ready," he said, asked. Bowing low, the 7 sages spoke in a unified whisper. Their voices filled with years of longing. "Teach us the way to experience you." And so began the greatest transmission in history. Shiva, the Adiyogi, began to unveil the mechanics of existence, the complete science of inner liberation. He revealed the 112 ways to reach the divine. This was the first yoga, the first tantra, the first science of inner transformation. He taught them the asanas, the secrets of breath, the power of stillness, and the path to pure awareness. He showed them how to master their inner energies, how to awaken the third eye, and ultimately, how to achieve union with the infinite. The cosmos itself, with its chakras and energies, was revealed to be a map of the human system. When the transmission was complete, Shiva blessed his first disciples. "Go," he commanded. "Carry this to the world. Let humanity know the divine is within." And the 7 sages, now the 7 pillars of human knowledge, embarked on their divine mission. They traveled across the world, spreading the sacred science, Atri to Tibet, Brigu to Persia, and Jairas to Mesopotamia. The knowledge flowed through Gautama into India, through Vasishta in the Himalayas, through Kashyapa to Kashmir, and through Bharadwaja to the south. Traces of this profound wisdom appeared in the ancient cultures of Egypt, Greece, Sumeria, and beyond. They carried the science of breath, body, mind, and cosmos to all corners of the earth, across cultures and across time. Back on the mountain, Shiva sat once more in meditation under the moon, his work as the teacher complete. From his breath, knowledge spread, and from his silence, civilization awakened. In the golden silence of the Himalayas, a princess was born, but she carried the fragrance of a goddess. This was Parvati, daughter of King Himavan. Her destiny was written long before her birth. Even as a child, she remembered an ancient presence. Near the river, she would draw the shape of a yogi on the sand, eyes closed, matted hair, a crescent moon. Her parents watched, confused. Her mother smiled softly, saying, "A presence he remembers, but we do not." Parvati did not know his name or his form, but she felt him, like a heartbeat inside her soul. Years passed, and Parvati, now a young woman, walked up a snow-covered mountain. The winds grew still, the silence thick. There, on a lonely cliff, she saw him, Shiva, meditating, still as stone, yet radiating a lightning-like blue grace. She saw the one she had been drawing, the one she had loved without meeting, a love older than her life, older than the mountains, older than time itself. She slowly walked closer, but Shiva sat unmoving, snow gathering on his shoulders. Tom felt frozen. She whispered, "Lord," but there was no response. He was lost in realms beyond creation, realms even gods cannot enter. Right then, Parvati made a choice. She chose not to chase him. She chose to become worthy of him. Sitting at a distance, she closed her eyes and began her own meditation. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Wind raged, rain fell, sun burned, and snow covered the land, but Parvati remained still. The gods sent distractions, flowers, music, illusions, but nothing moved her. No force in heaven or earth could disturb the stillness of her devotion. Then, one morning, as soft golden sunlight fell upon her face, Shiva opened one eye, just an inch. He saw her. A woman as still as himself, as devoted as himself, as vast as the sky. For the first time, Shiva's meditation trembled. A tiny smile formed on his lips. He rose slowly, his footsteps shaking the mountain, and walked to her. In a deep, gentle voice, he asked, "Who are you, child?" Parvati opened her eyes, tears falling. "Not a child, not a seeker. I am the one who belongs to you. From lifetimes, I came here not to ask for you, but to discover you." Shiva tested her with powerful illusions, raging storms, barren deserts, cosmic visions of fear, loneliness, and pain. But Parvati walked through them all, her face calm, her heart steady. Shiva whispered, "Who gave you this strength?" Smiling, she replied, "You did, in that moment." Shiva's eyes widened with recognition. In her, Shiva saw Shiva. In her devotion, he saw his own reflection. Parvati sat once more in meditation. Inside her mind, a glowing blue light appeared, taking the shape of Shiva. Not outside, but inside her own heart. She whispered in awe, "You are not separate from me. You are within me." A tear rolled down her cheek as her entire being glowed with golden light. The greatest discovery was not that Shiva exists, but that Shiva lives within every being. Shiva came near her and touched her forehead. A burst of light filled everything. Galaxies merged, stars collided, energies swirled. When Shiva saw himself in Parvati, he realized something profound. Consciousness is incomplete without energy. Stillness is incomplete without movement. Shiva is incomplete without Shakti. The universe witnessed the highest truth as Shiva and Parvati merged into a single cosmic form, Ardhanarishvara, half man, half woman, perfectly divine. The divine is not male nor female, but the union of both. As they sat together watching the sunrise over Kailash, the world glowed. Parvati did not find Shiva outside. She found him in her breath, in her silence, in her heart. The moment you look within, you will find him too. If Shiva existed before creation and revealed himself only when he chose, then where did he appear first on earth? Across India, Nepal, and Tibet, there exist sacred places where the Shiva Lingam did not come from a sculptor's hand. These are the Swayambhu Lingams, the self-manifested forms of the formless. They are not just idols, they are cosmic portals, places where divine energy became matter. Deep in the forests of South India, in Andhra Pradesh, lies the oldest Shiva Lingam ever discovered, the Gudumalam Lingam, over 2,300 years old. Yet its energy feels eternal, tucked away in a tiny, humble temple. This lingam is unlike any other. Here, Shiva appears not as a detached yogi, but as Pashupati, the lord of animals. A fierce huntsman is carved onto the front, a form older than our recorded history, older than the temples we know. Geologists confirm the stone itself predates the temple built around it. Archaeologists admit we don't know who made it. Perhaps no one did. It's a mystery that challenges our understanding of time, art, and divine intervention. Now, let's journey to the Himalayas. In the pine forests of Uttarakhand lies Jadeshwar, the valley of 124 temples. It's a quiet, mystical valley, home to a cluster of ancient Shaivite shrines. Here, many of the lingams were not carved, they were found, naturally shaped, untouched, and smooth. They seem to rise from the earth over time, as if the mountain itself is slowly revealing Shiva. Piece by piece, villagers and priests tell stories of these stones emerging from the soil. Each one a silent testament to the divine presence that permeates this sacred valley. In Nepal, Shiva appears in more than just temples. He appears in the very geography. At Pashupatinath in Kathmandu, the main lingam is believed to be self-manifested, appearing long before the grand structure was built around it. It stands by the holy Bagmati River, a focal point of immense spiritual power. Legends say it simply rose from the ground overnight. No artisan ever claimed credit for its creation. No scripture describes its installation. This isn't just a temple. It's a cosmic event frozen in stone. Further south, in Tamil Nadu, rises a mountain unlike any other. A mountain that sages call Shiva himself, Arunachala. At dawn, this hill glows orange, a silent, powerful presence dominating the landscape. Arunachala is not a place of worship. It is worship. Devotees don't just pray to it, they circumambulate it, believing the very act of walking around the mountain is a sacred ritual. Ancient texts say Shiva once appeared here as an infinite pillar of fire, the very same pillar that Brahma and Vishnu could not measure. Sages believe this mountain is the cooled physical form of that Lingodbhava fire, a living embodiment of Shiva's boundless energy. And then there is Kashi, Varanasi, the city where Shiva whispers through every breeze, where the boundary between life and death feels thin. Legend says Shiva never leaves Kashi. It is the one city he guards eternally, the place where liberation is promised. The Kashi Vishwanath temple holds a powerful Jyotirlingam, but the divine presence isn't confined to its walls. small shrines dot every street corner. Many built around lingams that appeared naturally in the soil. No one knows how many lingams truly exist here. Locals simply find them and build a sacred space, acknowledging Shiva's omnipresence in his favorite city. But Shiva's self-manifestation isn't limited to famous temples. Nature itself creates his form. In the Amarnath cave, an ice lingam forms and melts every year, as if nature is recreating Shiva from memory. In the Narmada River, perfectly smooth, egg-shaped stones known as Banalingas appear, considered to be Shiva himself. Some say they only appear during specific planetary alignments and vanish afterwards, from crystal lingams at Gokarna to oddly shaped rocks worshipped in tribal lands. These natural formations are revered. Science calls it geology, the result of erosion and mineral deposits, but sages call it the earth remembering its creator. When researchers analyze these Swayambhu sites, they find unusual patterns that science struggles to explain. The Gudamalam Lingam has a unique mineral composition. The stones from the Narmada River exhibit a crystalline structure with perfect geometry. Areas like Arunachala and Pashupatinath register unexplained energy fields and unusual radiation levels. Some stones hold a magnetic resonance found nowhere else in the world. Scientists try to explain it through geological anomalies or resonant frequencies, but the mystery only deepens. Each explanation seems to peel back one layer, only to reveal a more profound question beneath. These places are not just about stone temples or rituals. They are energetic hotspots, places where Shiva chose to appear for those who can feel him. They remind us that the divine is not something we create, but something we discover. The Swayambhu Lingams are proof that the sacred can emerge from the ground beneath our feet, from the ice in a cave, or from a mountain that stands as a silent witness to eternity. Wherever stillness touches the earth, Shiva manifests. They are not just objects of faith. They are invitations to experience the formless, right here, in the physical world. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more explorations into the mysteries of the cosmos. What if Shiva's story didn't begin in India alone? What if the echoes of Mahadev appear in cultures thousands of miles away, long before religion had borders, 5,000 years ago? In the Indus Valley civilization, archaeologists found what could be the earliest depiction of Shiva, a figure sitting in Padmasana, with animals around him, wearing a horned crown. This is Pashupati, the Lord of Animals, a proto-Shiva form linking directly to later iconography. Now, let's journey west. In the caves of Afghanistan, long before the modern nation existed, historians found carvings of a fierce, trident-holding deity. The form is almost identical to Shiva's Rudra aspect. It's a powerful reminder that before the rise of Islam in the region, the land worshipped Mahadev, moving to the roof of the world, in the high peaks of Tibet. The ancient Bon tradition speaks of the god Shanrab Milo. He's depicted as a meditative yogi, with matted hair and a crescent moon symbol. Scholars often refer to him as the Himalayan Adiyogi, the eternal teacher, a title synonymous with Shiva. The parallels are simply astonishing. Let's travel to Cambodia, home to Angkor Wat, the largest religious monument on Earth. This magnificent complex is filled with carvings of Shiva as the cosmic dancer Nataraja, the destroyer of illusions, and the ultimate lord of energy. Even today, local Cambodians refer to him as Priya Isar, the god of the mountain, a direct echo of his Himalayan abode further south in Indonesia. A nation with a majority Muslim population today, Shiva is still revered as Batara Guru, the supreme teacher. The stunning Shiva statues in the Prambanan temple complex stand as a testament to this legacy. A direct parallel to Shiva's role as Adi Guru, the first teacher. In India, let's go even further back in time to ancient Sumeria in Mesopotamia, one of the world's oldest civilizations. They worshipped a horned god, sometimes called Enki, or a Pawapati-like figure. We see a deity with a horned crown, a trident-like weapon, and crescent moon symbols. When you place it side by side with the Pashupati seal from the Indus Valley, the resemblance is too strong to be a coincidence. What about ancient Greece? They had a god named Dionysus, the lord of dance, wine, and ecstatic transcendence. Often surrounded by wild animals, with matted hair and a serpent symbol. Ancient Greek historians like Megasthenes, who visited India, even wrote, "The Indians worship Dionysus whom they call Shiva." The connection is documented in their own words, across continents. From the Nazca lines in Peru to African tribal masks and Australian Aboriginal rock art. The symbol of the trident appears again and again. It's often held by a deity connected to destruction, transformation, storms, and cosmic energy, exactly the domains of Shiva and his Trishul. So, you see, Shiva is not bound by geography, nor by language, nor by culture. He is the stillness behind meditation, the dance behind energy, the silence behind consciousness. He is not just India's, he is the world's ancient memory. Shiva is not a story to believe, but a state to experience. The ancient rishis did not worship Shiva as a person. They experienced him as an inner science. Inside every human lies a universe. Chakras like planets, nadis like constellations, breath like the cosmic wind. And Shiva is the spark that awakens this inner cosmos. The first experience of Shiva begins with sound. Not noise, but vibration. When you chant your breath aligns with the vibration that created galaxies. The ancients said, prana is Shiva. Your breath is the bridge between the physical and the divine. In moments of deep breathing, the mind becomes still. And the stillness is Shiva. The third eye is not fantasy. It is a powerful center of perception. When awakened, you no longer see the world, you see through it. This is why Shiva is shown with the third eye. Not to destroy the world, but to destroy illusion. Shiva is not found in temples, not in mountains, not in rituals. He appears in silence. When your mind becomes quiet, even for one breath, you touch the edge of Shiva. In the ancient text, Vijnana Bhairava, Shiva reveals 112 methods to enter the divine state. Some through breath, some through sound, some through stillness, some through awareness, some through love. Whatever your nature is, there is a path to Shiva within you. In yogic science, Shiva's dance is not mythology. It is the dance of energy inside every atom, every heartbeat, every breath. Every thought is part of Shiva's dance. You do not need a cave or the Himalayas. Sit quietly. Close your eyes. Feel your breath. Listen to your heart. Let thoughts pass like clouds. That moment when you feel a presence, a calmness, a vastness that is not you, but also you, that moment is Shiva. Shiva is not reached by travel. He is not summoned by prayers. He is awakened by awareness. The doorway is not outside. It is inside you. When your inner world becomes still, the Adiyogi appears. We begin our journey at the edge of creation, and one question echoed through every chapter. Who found Shiva? Brahma searched the skies. Vishnu searched the depth of existence. They realized you cannot measure the infinite. The Saptarishis, the 7 great sages, waited 12 years in silence to earn the first teachings of yoga. They did not find Shiva. Shiva found them worthy. And Parvati discovered the highest truth, that Shiva is not outside. He is within. He appeared in mountains, in caves, in forests, in rivers, but only to those who could feel him. Shiva was never lost. Shiva was never hidden. Shiva was never waiting to be found. He has always been here as stillness in your breath, as silence in your thoughts, as awareness in your being. You do not find Shiva by looking outside. You find him by looking within. So who found Shiva? A long pause. Brahma tried. Vishnu tried. Sages tried. Civilizations tried. But Shiva was not waiting to be found. He was waiting to be experienced. When your mind falls silent, when your breath becomes your prayer, when your awareness becomes vast, Shiva appears. He is not found. He is awakened.